Hello and welcome to One Tapped, where we're looking at how ANDBOX secure the grand finals on Map 1 on Bind. As you may have seen in the recent Renegades x Nerd Street Gamer Invitational, ANDBOX, a new and upcoming team, swept through the playoffs for a 2-0 victory in grand finals against the Immortals. Today, we'll be looking at a few of the rounds on Bind to see how their strats and team play helped to net them the win against the Immortals. Alright, let's get right into it. We're on Bind with ANDBOX on the defense and Immortals on the attack. And now, the Immortals are going to take onto the B site, bursting out with Omen Smokes and all of their util. Right, so this is a pretty standard burst where they manage to get site control pretty easily. And what I want you to pay attention here is the post-plant scenario that they've actually managed to find themselves in. Alright, so let's take a moment there and look at the minimap. We have 3 attackers on site, 2 defenders in elbow, and 1 in CT. Now, Immortals know this. They know that there's people in elbow and people in CT, and they need to push one of those out. Otherwise, they're going to get collapsed on from both sides. So what ends up happening is they end up pushing out the person in CT, but in doing so, they actually give up site control for the other 2 people in elbow to take. So while the Cypher is being engaged on, he knows all 3 are there. These 2 people rush onto site, and now they have site control. And trying to take back site while the spike is being planted and being diffused is what ends up giving the Immortals the loss here. Right, now we're skipping ahead to round 4, where Immortals are just slow pushing all of this, and I want you to pay attention to what's going on in the defender side, how they have 3 on B again and 2 on A, but they're actually switching up the agents every round just to keep Immortals on their feet, to keep them unsuspecting of who might be where. Alright, now Immortals, they play this really slowly, they play this round super slowly, but ANDBOX, they're just being patient, and they're waiting to see where they decide to strike. Now, if we skip ahead a few, they decide to actually end up attacking onto A, and the key play here on this round to notice is that shot up on the raise, he's going to actually raise ult and blast back in. Alright, and I want you to see something. He's blast backing right there, he goes all the way to U-Haul, and notice Omen's positioning. He actually manages to fall back and catch her when that ult. So let's look at that one more time. The raise is ulting in, blast back. He notice how he falls back, he gets the flash down, and then he gets the kill. Alright, effectively neutralizing that raise right there. Alright, and from then on, ANDBOX just gets a bunch of picks, and they win the round. That is clean play by Boy on that Omen. He knows the raise is coming in on the ult and the blast backs, and he adapts accordingly. Right, so now we're on round 7, and notice how ANDBOX here, they've split up their Sova onto A now, and their Omen onto B site. Alright, the defining play here is their Cypher, Seb. Not only does he have that pesky camera in hookah right over here, where it sees everything, and the attackers actually will not see this until many rounds in, which is unfortunate, but he gets all the info on where they are, and even though they do spot out the Phoenix on site right here, they don't actually get the kill. Alright, so what's going to end up happening is they're going to aggressively raise ult in and try and burst onto site. But the power of the Cypher here is you'll see how he uses his cages and his tripwires to confirm basically 3 kills. All of the people coming from long and this raise over here. So the cages go out, and then the Cypher manages to get the kill on the raise. The Omen picks up the Phoenix, and then there, the cage goes down, Cypher picks up the kill on the Omen, and that's that. Alright, we're on round 9 here, and we're going to look at how the ANDBOX defends on this B site again with that Cypher. Seb, he's doing incredible stuff on this B site with his utils, his trips, and that camera right there. And right there, his camera just sitting on top of that entrance in hookah, spots out the Omen, tags him, and that gives the go up for Android on the Phoenix to molly him out and flush him out and get the kill, which he does here. Now, unfortunately, he does get traded out, but notice how the camera's still here. The camera's still here just looking at Immortals push, and they haven't really spotted it out yet. So now Immortals are going to burst onto site, and they're just going to get traded out, just because this is an eco round, and they have the worst guns. Alright, now we're in round 11, and I want you to notice how Yaster on the Jet Op is now opping in Hookah. Now, he's never done this before, and Shot Op's going to get surprised right there. He never expected that. Alright, so that's an early kill. Now, Immortals are still going to commit to this B site, alright? So they're going to use their util, find as much information as they can, but the Cypher and the Jet Op is going to slow their push quite a bit. Alright, let's fast forward a bit. So they're going to eventually burst onto site there with Omen TP. It's pretty nice. But notice this passiveness, this passive play from ANDBOX here. They all retreat to elbow and CT. They're letting them take site because the people from A, they're taking Kelly, and they're going to flash out of Hookah and take Hookah control, alright? Because they have two flashes there. Phoenix flash and Omen flash. So he gets traded out there. But now look at this positioning, alright? So you have one person attacking from Hookah, one person going in from CT, and two from elbow, alright? There's 3 different angles that Immortals need to worry about, and it's going to cost them the round here. So they try and push in to this elbow here, and they end up just dying to the up, and yep, there's nothing they can do about it. They're just getting pushed on too many angles right here, and they just lose the round. We're moving on to round 12 here, where Yaster is now taking a much different angle. He's taking a very close angle on Showers with the op. And again, this mix-up is going to cost the Immortals quite a bit. They're just going to lose Cypher right there, and they're going to lose Omen. And that's just unfortunate for them. But they managed to trade those 2 kills out. Alright, now what I want you to notice here is that Android's using the Phoenix ult here just to get info, alright? They want to see where people are at. Alright, now the interesting part here is how he positions himself. He's actually going to be pretty cautious here because he doesn't know where the rest of the people are. But he's going to actually put himself in a bad position, so-called bad position. And this is bad because he's exposed to all angles. But what he's really doing here is he's actually baiting himself for his teammates to get the kills on, because it's a 3v2 and trades are going to favor the defending side. So they get a camera down, they know Raze is standing atop that box. So Phoenix is actually going to keep playing in this position. He knows the Cypher is going to trade him if they push him close, and he knows the Omen is going to trade him if they come afar, right here. So he's going to stay here. He's going to stay here because he knows his teammates are going to trade him, and exactly that. His Cypher and his Omen, they pick up the kills, and they win the round. Right, so now we're on ANDBOX's attacking side. Now, they didn't do too hot for the first few rounds on attack, but here they are, and they're getting ready to take an A site here. Now, they have a set plan on what they're going to do for A site. They're going to first riddle the site with smokes and flashes, and then send their jet from Showers to these triple boxes with the jet dash, and attract fire from U-Haul and Heaven to get info on where the defenders are at. Alright, and they're going to use that moment to try and get a trade or some picks off, which is exactly what happens here. Now, even though Yaster does get picked off here when he dashes in, they do end up getting 2 picks off, so it evens out in their favor. Right, and Android on the Phoenix, he's just going to click heads, and he's just going to walk through U-Haul like a madman and pick off JC Stani like it's no big deal. Alright, now Shot Up on the Raze, he's on the flank here. He's actually going to take a pick off, but it's a 2v3 right now for the defenders, which is super bad, because they know that there's someone Heaven and they know that there's someone short. Alright, as you'll see momentarily. So Android is actually going to use his ult as best as he can to get info on where the Raze is at. Alright, but he doesn't manage to find out, so he's actually going to take a very cautious and very defensive angle here while he tries to just basically keep the Raze where she's at. Alright, and the Omen is going to trade him if he does get picked off. Now, the only person left is Gangsta on Heaven with the op, of course, and this is just unlucky for him. He doesn't know where Boy was at, and he just gets picked off. Right, moving on to round 18 here. ANDBOX are actually going to slow push Hookah here, and watch how they decide to style this out. They're actually going to do their best to play passively and draw as much util as possible, which they actually do end up doing. They actually managed to bait out the Raze ult here from Shot Up, and the Raze ult actually gets no value. So they use the Omen Flash. They only use the Omen Flash, and they draw out the Phoenix Molly, the Raze Blast Packs, and the Raze ult. And the Raze doesn't get anything here from her ult, right? And all they committed to that was an Omen Flash. Right, that's insane value. And ANDBOX are now going to use that advantage to push onto B site from long. Alright. Now, Gangsta here, he's actually insane on the Sova. He's actually going to get a pick with his ult. Because if he's ulting from here onto long, it's a pretty straight pathway, and there's not that many places for people to go. And you see how Boy, he couldn't really go anywhere in this long area, so he just got picked off there. Alright, but now they're going to just basically flood onto site with Poach coming through on Hookah, and they're going to take site control and get the plant. Alright, this is just textbook stuff here. They first baited out all of the util that Immortals had, all of the defensive utility, and just got the stick down and managed to get the W on this round here. Alright, now we're on the last round here, and in my opinion, the best round. Alright, so ANDBOX is just playing default here, while Immortals are actually pushing out through Hookah right now, as they usually do if they don't see anyone. Unfortunately for them, they actually both get picked off by Boy and Yaster, respectively. Alright, and now this just signals to ANDBOX that B is free for the taking, and they start piling onto the site with Omen Util, and they're going to use some flashes. Alright, now Boy is actually going to aggressively push up here, and I love this play, because while the Sova's ulting, there's so much stuff going on that Immortals do not see him, and he picks up a 2k, alright? Essentially securing them the round, because the only person left is Neptune, and it's a 1v3, chances are he's not going to be able to do anything, and right here, yep, it gets closed out, and ANDBOX will take the W. And this is through a combination of switching up their positions on defense and being a passive play on offense. Alright, and that's it for this episode of One Tapped. Let me know if you have any comments or suggestions. Just feel free to leave them down below. And as always, keep clicking heads.